Today I'm looking at the Mercedes-Benz GLA 250, and I also encourage you to check out the video of the GLA 45 AMG, the higher performance version of this brand new crossover that's coming to Canada in the fall of 2014. The GLA is based on the same platform as the wildly popular CLA that arrived earlier last year. Now this is obviously a crossover SUV application of that vehicle, maybe a more practical version. It's got a higher roofline, it's got better outward visibility, more headroom in the back seat, and it's got the hatchback configuration. It looks fantastic. A few things to point out on the styling, the differences between the 250 and the 45 AMG. The 250 comes with halogen headlamps, the 45 AMG comes with bi-xenons, but they're optional, you can get them on this car. Also, wheel sizes range. If you want the bigger wheels, you have to get those on the AMG, it does come standard. It's a very nice looking car. As I said, it's probably more practical. It's got a nice stance. It looks like it means business, and the CLA is no slouch either. So we're here in Spain to test drive this vehicle. We're in Granada today, heading down to the coast of Malaga to check out the new GLA from Mercedes-Benz. Now this GLA is almost identical on the inside to the CLA, except for one big difference, and that's the amount of headroom that you get. Of course, with this SUV application, you sit up a little bit higher, you've got more headroom, and that affords greater outward visibility, which is a concern with the CLA, especially for people that sit in the back seat. There's plenty more headroom and greater outward visibility for people looking out of the back window. Now, when you look at this, it's got the same fashion-forward dashboard with the screen that's in the center, with that sort of stuck-on application. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm not going to decide, you decide whether you like it. I should just point out that Audi with their new products are having that screen hide into the dash if you like. It comes in different sizes. Without navigation, it's smaller. With navigation, you get the bigger screen. The seating position is great. The steering wheel is comfortable in your hands. You'll notice that it comes with the faux leather seats on the 250, and when you get into the AMG, the 45 AMG, it comes with Recaro seats covered in leather. You can, however, get the executive package in this and upgrade from the faux leather to the real leather and get a little bit nicer interior. I do like the layout, the dash. It works quite well. I like it in the CLA. In this one, you just get a bit more. You get a bit more headroom, better outward visibility, and also the hatch at the back that's going to make it more practical, especially for families. Now the first thing you notice with the 250 compared to the 45 AMG, the 45 AMG has a center mounted shifter here, very sporty looking. This one has the column mounted shifter like a lot of Mercedes-Benz products where you push it in the center and it goes into park. This is actually better in my estimation because it frees up more space in the center console for things like your sunglasses, what have you. And this is not a big car, so any extra storage space is welcome. So we're in drive and we're heading out on the road in Spain. Now I got to drive the GLA 45 AMG first and then getting into the 250, and you would think that this 250 is kind of a letdown compared to the AMG because this has 208 horsepower from the 2-liter turbocharged engine and the AMG has 355 horsepower. But they're very different vehicles. The AMG has gobs of power, that is true, but it's got a slightly firmer suspension, and this vehicle has smaller tires, a softer suspension, and the 208 horsepower really doesn't feel like this car is underpowered at all. What it makes it is a very nice all-rounder. It kind of reminds me of the CLA. You can go and watch my review of the CLA, and it has the 250 and the AMG in that one as well. And it came to the same kind of realization. For everyday driving, this 250 might just be the better vehicle to choose. It's comfortable, the 208 horsepower, the 258 foot-pounds of torque. Even when you're driving here in Europe on the highway, it's certainly got enough power. It feels very direct and connected to the road, but it's smooth and quiet and refined enough that it cruises along absolutely effortlessly. So it really comes down to your personal taste. If you gotta have the best and you gotta have the most power, that AMG really is a fantastic machine. But this 250, if you can't afford to get the AMG, it really isn't that far of a step down. Pricing for the GLA has not been announced. Mercedes-Benz Canada is holding off until the release date for them to bring out the pricing. They have done it in the United States, but you can look at the CLA sedan as a kind of a reference. Now, all of these vehicles come with standard all-wheel drive, where the CLA you can get front-wheel drive. It's about $2,700 more to get all-wheel drive, so you can start to do your calculations based on those figures. Well, the 45 AMG is much more dynamic, of course. 355 horsepower, it's got more torque, it's got a stiffer suspension, suspension, bigger wheels. It definitely feels much more go-kart-like, but the suspension is a little bit stiffer. I do like the 45 and the fact that they didn't make the suspension as crashy as the CLA 45 AMG. I found that car was really rough, especially over potholed streets. Now, with 208 horsepower, cruising along at high speed is not a problem at all. The suspension is smoother, it's a little bit more sedate, and would probably be the better commuter car overall. This GLA, I think, is a better option than the CLA. You sit up a little higher, better outward visibility especially for kids in the back seat, and you get the hatch cargo. And I suspect they're gonna have the same problem they have with the CLA, and that's keeping up with demand.